project's now set up, and we need something to actually begin controlling. By the end of this topic, we'll have a player pawn with visuals. It won't move yet, that will be coming next, but we will understand exactly how and why Unreal decides to spawn things and where. One of the core things in development is planning ahead and really thinking about what your current goal is and how to achieve that. So quite simply, from the videos, we know that we want to be controlling this small character in a little blue plane. Just to ensure that nobody's getting left behind if you're completely new to everything, I don't want to throw complete jargon out there. So I'm going to show some really basic things. The plane that we're looking at is something called a static mesh. So if we go to the assets, meshes, we can see here this is a static mesh of our little character in the blue plane. So we want to be controlling that. If we threw that straight into the level, we wouldn't be able to control a static mesh. We need to make this code-based and use a type of blueprint class at the very least to get this going. Inside of Unreal, this is referred to as a pawn, something that we can possess or take control of, essentially just a special type of actor. So let's go ahead and create our pawn properly with our good folder structure. So we're going to go into our blueprints folder. Inside of here, we want to create a new folder. We can right click and search for the new folder option here. I tend to use the Control, Shift, and N shortcut to create a new folder there. So N for new. I'm going to rename this folder to core. This will be our core gameplay mechanics or gameplay features. And then inside of this big folder structure, if we right click, we want to go up to the blueprint class option just here. And this will allow us to create a new blueprint. And we can see a range of different options here. And this is where understanding Unreal's class hierarchy can begin to help. In short, everything inside of Unreal inherits from something called an object. This is just a data container, the most simplified class that we have access to. We quite often then see something called an actor. Everything in the level at the moment is at the very root an actor class. We'll have static mesh actors, camera actors, light actors, but they're all actors at their root. This adds a physical presence on top of the object data, which is a location, rotation, and scale, referred to as a transform. And then the pawns that we're going to be working with are just an actor with the functionality to be possessed. You'll see in some tutorials they will use something called a character class instead, and that would be overkill for what we're looking to make with this shoot 'em up. Characters include things like walking mechanics, gravity, capsule collision, stuff really designed for humanoid characters walking around on foot. We're going to be making a spaceship, so we don't really need any of that, and it comes with a lot of extra overhead that we'd need to actively work around. So you may see other tutorials creating things like a tank controller using a character class, and this is just where being aware of things like this would allow you to consider that that may not be the best solution for what you're trying to create. Because pawns are quite a commonly used actor or type of class, we can see that's actually up here in the common section, so we can click on this, and this will create a new pawn class for us. And we want to call this one BP_pawn base, because this will be the base class for any pawn-related classes that we create in the future, allowing for us to reuse some of the logic for our enemies as well, naming it for what it is in general, not just what it's meant to do first of all, which is going to be working as the player class. Before we go any further, another quick aside here, quick quality of life fix. Unreal Engine has some strong opinions about window management, and they're mostly wrong. So to fix one of the things which is about to happen, if we double click to open our blueprint now, this will just create a floating window pretty much anywhere on the screen. This can be quite annoying. It means that windows can get lost behind other applications and things like that. So if we go back up to Edit and then Editor Preferences, same place that I showed you previously where I changed the application scale. As I've mentioned, we can do a lot of quality of life fixes and changes here. The one I want to find is under Asset Editor Open Location. We want to change this from default, which is open wherever, and we're going to change this to main window. You can try different things and see which may work best for you. I quite like main window. It's kind of like working in a web browser then, where each new file, blueprint, asset, whatever it is you're working with, whenever you open a new window, it will create a new tab and dock them kind of like bookmarks at the top. So again, this automatically saves. We can close this, go back into the content drawer, and then double click again to open the pawn base. You can see that opens up here, which is exactly what I wanted. If you've done the same as me, where you may have opened this twice, you may be greeted with this simplified data only view, and that's perfectly fine. We don't need to panic. This is all of the class details presented to us essentially in text or drop-down form. To get back into the full blueprint editor, we just want this blue line of text here, the open full blueprint editor, and that will bring us back to where we want to be. Okay, so there's a lot of information that I could front load you with right now, but you'd probably forget most of it. So we're going to take a kind of more organic and natural way to learn the Unreal Engine. We're just going to work with new features, and I'll introduce them as we go through and as they become relevant. The first thing that we can see at the moment is we're in the event graph in this tab just here. This is where we place our logic and code. We're going to come back here later. For now, if we click on over to the viewport, this is just a similar thing where we can look around and see what our blueprint class will look like. Blueprint classes are normally made up of different components, each with their own features and functionality. In the left-hand side, we can see the components panel, and we want to add our visual representation, that static mesh. So if we press add and search for static mesh, we can see that just here. That's going to be the first part of the puzzle that we're trying to solve. With the static mesh selected, in the right-hand side of the window, we can see our details panel. This tells us everything about the component that we currently have selected. We can see we have a drop-down here for the static mesh, and this is the visual representation that we want to set. We know that we want this to be the blue plane, so we'll find the plane hero and we'll select that one. Inside of this viewport, I'm just using the mouse wheel to scroll in and out. If we press Alt and left click, we can drag around and view the model. And if we press right click and drag around the mouse, we can change what we're looking at. Middle mouse click and move will dolly or pan, I think that's calling. And this is the basics of kind of navigating around this viewport and also the world viewport later when we come to level building and things like that. Something else which is useful to know is if you press F when you have something selected, you'll focus in. So that's F for focus. Now what we've just created is our static mesh, and we can see back in the components panel we have something called a default scene route. This is showing the actor's structure, and every actor needs at least a default scene route, a point in space where everything else is attached. The default scene route that we have is just a placeholder, so we can grab our static mesh and we can drag our static mesh onto the default scene route and let go, so left click and drag, and we've now made our static mesh what is referred to as the root component, so the base element of our player class or our pawn. One other thing, when we get to a stage where we think we're quite happy with the progress, we need to make sure we get into a good habit of hitting compile and save. This just makes sure that if anything crashes, then we don't lose our work, and compiling will just check for any errors and catch things early. So we've now got our pawn with visuals. But of course, if we go and press play, we're not going to be seeing this just yet because we haven't told the Unreal Engine to use it. And we can use some standard first-person game input here. So W, A, S, and D will fly you around. Q and E will move you up and down. And of course, the mouse will look around. But of course, that's not quite the functionality we're looking for. So in the next topic, we'll be fixing this by looking at the Unreal Engine gameplay framework. We'll be telling the Unreal Engine exactly what to spawn and where we want it to spawn. Once again, if you're experimenting on your own, which I'd always recommend, try adding in other components to the pawn class. Something as simple as a point light, a default particle system, just to see what happens when you attach things to different parts of the hierarchy. That kind of experimentation is really how you'll get this stuff to stick. As I've mentioned before, if you're finding this useful, the next topic should already be up for YouTube members. And if you're stuck on something, drop a comment below. There's a good chance that somebody else has hit the same issue. And like I've said previously, helping others with something you've just learned is a really good way to reinforce what you're learning as you go. And of course, you'll be helping other people.